Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at this right here. The brand new high-grade Shenlong Gundam, and of course this is from Gundam Wing. As usual, this video right here would not be possible without those awesome people over at Hobbylink Japan, so if you want one of these of your own or for all your gunpla needs, link is down there in the description. Now before I say anything else, I assume this would be like the rest of the high-grade Gundam kits we've seen so far. Or should I say the high-grade Gundam Wing kits that we've seen so far. Those have all been very good kits, but this one's a little bit different. It's a lot better. So first off, the elephant in the room with this kit is those stickers up on the shoulders. Those are pretty bad. Grab yourself one of these. Or any kind of metallic green paint that you want, but these stickers aren't great. But besides these, this kit is in a whole other league compared to the other kits we've seen so far. The plastic is nicer, the layout of the parts is nicer, and even though all the joints in the hands and everything is completely compatible with all the other kits, this one just feels and looks that much better. Anyway, let's jump right on into it. So jumping right on into the looks and the aesthetics of this kit, and this thing is blowing my mind, mainly because I expected it would be exactly the same as the rest of the high-grade Gundam Wing line that we've been seeing so far. Now don't get me wrong, those are absolutely beautiful and fantastic kits, but this one has raised the bar. Of course, there is that issue that I've mentioned already and that you've probably already know about, which is the massive green dome-shaped stickers that have to go on to the fronts of the shoulders. Now these are the worst kind of surfaces to ever have to stick a sticker over, and these do not look good. So once again, if you want this to look perfect, metallic green Gundam marker or some metallic green paint, or just leave them blank like round back. So jumping into a bit of a comparison with the previously released high-grade Gundam Wing TV versions. Now, I do not have the standard TV version of the Wing Gundam right here to go, so I'm not going to be using the high grade in this review. I'm going to be using the real grade just to fill out the squad, but I'm not really going to be talking about it. So yeah, the Shenlong right here is quite a bit better than the kits we've seen so far, and you might be asking why. Well, usually when I build kits, at least somewhat recently, I have been top coating them for the reviews, at least the brand new releases. Now this one I did not need to. The white on here is an absolute perfect matte white. We've got some semi matte blue, and the red is glossy. Now those stickers are definitely a letdown, but this thing is ridiculous. It's even missing the seam line in the front of the leg we would have seen with pretty much every kit so far. Now heavy arms here is super glossy, which you may or may not like, but it does feel a little bit cheap to the touch, relatively speaking. And we do have that big seam right there in the front of the leg where there shouldn't be a seam, and the same pretty much goes across the entire line, like what you're seeing right here. Not the dark one right there, the actual, see the smaller one down a little further. There shouldn't be a seam in that particular piece of armor, and it really doesn't matter so much with the death side right here, because that is meant to actually have a line in its armor right there. But what Bandai have actually done here is they've made this a three-piece leg, so that's a side, and a front, so we don't get any seam there at all. That doesn't mean there is no seams in this kit at all, just I noticed that, and it's really nice. So anyway, as for some size comparisons, there it is side by side with the high-grade Leo, high-grade Maganak, RX-78-2 Revive, Core Gundam, the newest version of the high-grade Zaku, Origin Zaku, entry-grade New Gundam, Dummy Balloon New Gundam, Narrative Gundam, Gundam F91, Wing Zero, Brigham, Barbie Lupus, and the Jim Jim. So now jumping into the full 360-degree spin so you can see every angle for yourself of this kit, and this is absolutely beautiful. As for the build, all I did was use the included stickers, and I did actually use some pan liners with this, which is the flow type pan liners, and I snipped it out of the runners with 2 snips with the God Hand. That is it. Besides that, this is incredible looking. The multiple textures of plastic here blow my mind, all the way from the matte white to the semi-gloss red. It just looks really nice. If you zoom into the head, this has been very nicely crafted. They've actually hidden the seam in the side quite well by making the whole front of the face one piece. So the muzzle, the ears, the forehead, all of that is one piece connected onto the back, and it's done quite well with a lot of nice detail. Everything about this just looks incredible, that kind of armored looking torso, the dragon fang looking incredible, and the fact that it is actually stacked up into the arm and doesn't really require a parts formation is phenomenal. Now, you do have to add some parts for the full length, but you can still unfold this from the shoulder in a more medium length kind of attacking vibe. This thing is so nice. Anyway, I think it's about time we got into the accessories. So now jumping into the accessories, and here's everything the high-grade Shenlong comes with. That of course is the iconic beam Glaive, the Shenlong Shield, 2 little adapter parts for extending the length of the dragon Fang, and we've got 6 hands in total, that is 3 pairs. So first up, as for the hands in here, these are the usual ball joint attachment hands, and these are identical to everything we would have seen with the heavy arms, the Sandrock, and the Death Scythe. So of course, if the hands are the same, that does mean that the accessories are, to some degree, at least the handheld ones, compatible across the line. So you could take Death Scythe and pop it into Sandrock's hands, and pretty much any other kit's stuff in the exact same sort of way. And that isn't the limit to the actual compatibility between these kits. Sure, there are some limiting factors on some of the kits that I don't really understand. For example, with the Death Scythe, its shield has a standard 3mm peg that does not attach into the arm here, which is a little bit of a slot. Now, Sandrock would feature the exact same slot, so you could take Sandrock's shield and pop it onto Shenlong right here. And even though you might be like, well, I want to take Heavy Arms' Gatling and pop it onto Shenlong, that isn't necessarily directly the case because of the shape of the arm, but everything when it comes to all the joints on here are the same. So that does mean you could actually just pop off the arm from Heavy Arms, pop off Shenlong's arm, and pop the Heavy Arms arm onto Shenlong like this. You can pull pretty much any part off, like the legs, arms, the torso like this right here, pop them together, so you could make your own custom kit from these by kit bashing them together. So you can make your own, I don't know, 6th Gundam Wing mobile suit, so you can be, I don't know, join the crew yourself. Paint it your own custom color, and that would be kick-ass. So now moving on to the beam Glaive, and what it says in the instructions about this is the main weapon of the Shenlong Gundam. It is a naginata-shaped melee combat weapon that emits a beam blade from the tip of its long handle. It has a long, effective range and can be wielded with one or both hands, making it a highly operable weapon. It was powerful enough to slice an MS in half with a single slash. MS, by the way, is mobile suit. So this right here is a fairly simplistic weapon, but, well, it gets the job done. It's a big long stick with a big old beam effect sticking out of the top, and if I'm not mistaken, that particular shade of green should glow quite well under blue light. So let's have a little look at that. Pop off the light. Hey Siri, lights off. Okay, done. And there we go, definitely fluorescing under a black or blue light. Nice. So in order to get this held, of course, we do need a hand, and we have 2 different types in here. That's this one right here, which is your standard holding hand. That, of course, we do have a left and a right one of that. And this one right here, which is a more extended angle one with a bit of an extended thumb. So I'm going to go with the extended angle one, which is better for slashing poses. The other one's better for more prone or just holding onto it poses. The hands on here is super simple to swap. Just pop it out, and I'm going with this one. So pop it back in again. And then just slotting the weapon in is just as simple as sliding the handle into the hand. No disassembly required. I'll also mention at this point in the review, I get asked quite often, what is this Ares right here? So this is actually the Robot Spirits version, or the Robot Damashi Ares. As you can see from this is quite old, so a lot of the color's gone funny. And I really hope Bandai makes a high-grade Ares. Seriously, you made a Maganak! Make the Ares! So the next piece of equipment we have in here is the Shenlong Shield. According to the instructions, this is a piece of defensive equipment dedicated to the mobile suit, which is attached to its left forearm. It was downsized to maintain the features of the Shenlong Gundam, which specializes in melee combat. It can also be used as a throwing weapon, and it is extremely effective against mobile suits. Detail-wise, this is absolutely beautiful. We've got a grey little peg round back. The vast majority of the body is in blue plastic, and we've got yellow up front. This is actually 2 separate pieces of yellow, that little X-shaped segment, as well as the kind of domey, shieldy bit behind it, both separated. Very nice. So just like we saw already, this attaches on super simply. It's just a peg into a hole, and there we go. Nice and secure and beautiful. So the last accessories we have in here are these 2 little extension parts for using with the Dragon Fang arm, which I have to admit has blown my mind. This has been done so well. Step 1 with the unfurling of the Dragon Fang is just to remove the fist like so. Next up, the head part can just seamlessly fold out like this. We've got the bottom, I guess, jaw or tooth down on the wrist, which swings up like so. The yellow teeth segments swing down like this. And then this is where the magic really happens with this. You just pull up on the shoulder like this and it will disjoint out. This little circular section you're seeing right here actually allows this to work like a normal arm-shoulder joint while it's in there. So there is articulation on that while it's in there, which is phenomenal. Then this is used to unfurl it out, the whole arm can fold out like so, and this is how much Dragon Fang you actually get without any parts formation whatsoever. So there's a whole load of rotation, bend, length, and everything to this without any addition, and I love that. So next up you need to disconnect some parts, and this is done quite well, but it could be dangerous that you might forget over time that these are almost like a keyhole in the way that they work, or even a double keyhole. So as you can see right here, the top of that particular peg does have two little grabby segments which attach in pretty much like a double keyhole, and then when you twist it, it locks into position. So I've forgotten before with joints like this and just tried to yank them out after a year or two of forgetting that that was there. So you know, be careful. So there is a second one of these segments up in the shoulder to remove. Once again, the same twist to release mechanism can be a little difficult up in the shoulder, but once you get those both out, we attach in both of those extension aspects. These are the exact same sort of locking mechanism, stick them in, twist them into position, and two of these go along the length of the arm like so. Now we've got one in, the other one just pops in like so, extending that part. This one then attaches in like that. And just look at the ridiculous amount of length you get out of that. This is one of my first ever Gundam memories, if not the one that stood out to me the most straight away. Shenlong's Dragon Fang always blew my mind, and this just looks absolutely incredible. With so much articulation, that whippy dragon aspect is unreal cool. Honestly, I am so impressed by this. This makes the Master Grade EW look a little bit on the flaccid side. So now jumping into the articulation, and when it comes to the high-grade Shenlong, you're pretty much seeing exactly what we would have been seeing with the high-grade Death Side, Sandrock, and the heavy arms, because all the joints and everything is pretty much similar. Now, the only thing I'll mention that is a little bit limited on this, like really limited on this, is the knee bend. You're not getting a whole lot out of it. Besides that, there's a little bit of limitations at the ab crunch and at the ankles to a degree, but for the most part, it's not too bad. Now when I throw it into the usual test pose for testing out all the joints, as you can see, the ab could crunch a little bit more and we could get a little bit more out of the ankles, but besides that, it's doing a damn fine job and it looks really cool in this pose. Now, when we try some other poses like kneeling, it works perfectly well, even though the knees don't bend all that much. So on the whole, the articulation here is extremely good. Now, when you do get it up in the air, that's when I feel like it looks and feels the weakest to some degree, which does make sense. Shenlong does spend the vast majority of its time on the ground, so that is where it looks the best, and it does quite well at it. So when it comes to the verdict, if I recall correctly, the last couple of high-grade kits, which were the Death Side and the Sandrock, got gold tier from me, but I feel like Bandai has raised the game entirely with this kit, so when it comes to high-grade After Colony kits, this right here to me is platinum. Again, the only place this drops the ball is with the color up on the shoulders. That, of course, is the metallic green. Now, if you really can't get past that, I would say it's a gold tier kit, I guess, but if you can ignore that, either use the stickers or paint it up, this kit really is phenomenal. What they've done here with that Dragon Fang blows my mind, and the overall thing just looks phenomenal. Anyway, if you do want one of your own, I got mine through Hobbylink Japan, link in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video and every video would not be possible without each and every one of you guys who watches my videos. And special thanks to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and on the channel members, including Caleb Engelhart, Global Frequency Studios, Go Little Rockstar, Gunpla UK Limited, Joe, Kill Me Inc., Lawrence Seahack, RG59061, and Van Fawn.